All right, today we are diving deep into one of the absolute Bibles of investing, Jack Schwager's hedge fund market wizards. We're going to take decades of wisdom from these billion-dollar traders and boil it all down to a few key lessons. So, you ready to see what really makes the pros tick? Let's jump right in.
So let's start with the big one, right? This is the question that everybody asks when they first look at the markets. Is there some kind of secret formula? A magic indicator that just guarantees you'll make money? It's the quest that sends millions of people down this endless rabbit hole. And the answer, after Schwager sat down with the best traders on the planet, is a flat-out no. The Holy Grail? It's not some hidden formula you can just buy or stumble upon. The whole idea is just a distraction from what really truly matters.
What he found was kind of mind-blowing. These traders use totally different strategies. You have macro guys looking at huge economic trends, quants using insane math, technical traders just staring at charts. But their success? It's all built on the exact same foundation, and that foundation rests on three core pillars.
And these are the pillars we're going to walk through today. Master your risk, master your mind, and master your process. This isn't just some vague philosophy, you guys. This is a blueprint for how to perform at the highest level when the pressure is on. So, let's kick it off with the most important one of all, risk.
Pillar 1 is all about mastering your risk. Look, the legends of the trading world aren't successful because they're right all the time. No way. They're successful because they are absolute masters of survival. They build their entire world around one simple idea, staying in the game no matter what. And this slide just perfectly captures that fundamental shift in mindset. An amateur looks at a stock and immediately starts dreaming about the upside. They ask, wow, how much money can I make? The pro, the wizard, flips that question completely on its head. Their very first thought always is, okay, if I'm dead wrong, what's the absolute most I can lose on this? Market wizard Colm O'Shea really just said it all with this. It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? But it's probably the deepest truth in all of finance. Your number one job isn't to hit home runs. It's to protect what you have. Because if you can just avoid those huge catastrophic losses, well, the gains tend to take care of themselves over time.
So how do they actually do it? Well, a lot of them, like the legendary Bruce Kovner, live by a simple, unbreakable rule. Never, ever risk more than 1% of your capital on a single trade. Think about that. If you've got $1 million, the most you can possibly lose on one idea is $10,000. That's it. This discipline guarantees that even a long losing streak, and believe me, everyone has them, can never, ever blow you up.
Okay, let's move on to pillar 2. If risk management is the hardware of your trading machine, then mastering your mind is the operating system. Schwager discovered that the biggest fights aren't with the market, they're fought in that space right between your ears.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating, because it all comes down to ego. The amateur trader ties their self-worth to being right. A losing trade feels personal, like a failure. So what do? They hold on, they pray, they hope it comes back. The wizard? They have zero ego invested in a trade. They fully accept that being wrong is just a normal, everyday part of doing business.
And that acceptance is what unlocks these three critical traits. First, you get detachment. They don't care if they're right. They just care about what the market is telling them. Second, ultimate flexibility. If the data changes, they change their mind in a heartbeat. No regrets. And third, emotional control. They don't get euphoric after a big win or paralyzed by fear after a loss. It's just business. This quote from Paul Tudor Jones, it's the ultimate expression of this wizard mindset. He's not being negative, he's being disciplined. It forces him every single day to re-justify why he's in a trade. It's maybe the most powerful defense against getting lazy or biased.
And that mindset leads us perfectly into the final pillar, mastering your process. The best traders are not fortune tellers. Let's get that straight. They aren't trying to predict what's going to happen next. They are simply experts at executing and reacting based on a system they've built and tested. It all comes down to the process.
So here's the crucial shift in thinking. An amateur is obsessed with the thing they can't control. What's the market going to do? The professional, on the other hand, is obsessed with the one thing they can control, their own actions. They just ask, did I follow my plan? Did I execute my rules perfectly? And this changes everything. It completely redefines what a good trade even is. For a wizard, a good trade is simply one where you followed your process flawlessly. So you can actually have a good trade that loses money. And you can definitely have a bad trade, one where you got lucky, that made money. In the long run,
Only the good trades, the ones based on process, actually matter.
The great trend follower Ed Sikota just hammered this home with his famous rules. It couldn't be simpler. It's all about the process. And the process is know where you're getting out before you get in, and then honor that decision with robotic discipline. That's it. That's the whole game right there.
So as we start to put all this together, it becomes pretty obvious that these lessons are universal. I mean, this isn't just about trading stocks and bonds. This is really a masterclass in how to make great decisions when you don't know what's coming next.
Just think about it, right? An entrepreneur who's obsessed with managing downside risk can survive long enough for their big idea to work. An athlete who masters their mental game can perform when it counts. A professional who builds and trusts a repeatable process will always beat the person who just relies on random flashes of inspiration.
If you take one thing away from all of Schwager's work, let it be this. The legends of finance do not have a crystal ball. Their edge doesn't come from some secret piece of software or an algorithm nobody else has.
Their superpowers are all internal. It's that unshakable discipline to stick to their rules, that deep self-awareness to keep their emotions in check, and this almost fanatical focus on not losing big. That is the real holy grail.
So, these trading giants teach us that real mastery isn't about finding some magic trick out there. It's about forging an iron will inside yourself. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. And whatever it is you do in your own life, how can you apply that same relentless discipline to get where you want to go?